For centuries, Alaska's glaciers have engulfed everything in their path: forests, rivers, entire landscapes. Now, as the ice recedes, a frozen time capsule is being exposed, revealing relics from an era long before humans roamed the Earth. Perfectly preserved mammoths, ancient tools, and prehistoric plants are surfacing after millennia of being locked in ice. Yet, alongside these expected relics, researchers are finding inexplicable structures, artifacts, and signs of intelligence that don't fit any known history. It began with a peculiar rock formation discovered deep within the melting ice, at first assumed to be a natural formation. Closer inspection soon told a different story. One thing is clear: what was hidden beneath the ice was never meant to be seen, and this is just the start of a discovery that promises to upend everything we thought we knew. This wasn't a random scattering of rocks shaped solely by nature. Instead, deliberate geometric patterns, carved symbols that don't match any indigenous markings, and a structure so precise it appeared engineered all pointed to something extraordinary. Advanced scanning technology then revealed an entire network of tunnels, smooth-walled, with reinforced ceilings, that stretched deep into the frozen ground. These were not natural caves born from glacial shifts, but rather man-made or otherwise constructed passageways. The deeper the team ventured, the more it became apparent someone, or something, had been here long before modern civilization arrived. As the researchers documented their findings, strange phenomena began to occur. Equipment malfunctioned, GPS devices lost their bearings, compasses spun uncontrollably, and radios were filled with static. The anomalies intensified with depth. Some scientists experienced sudden bouts of nausea and dizziness, while others reported hearing low-frequency sounds emerging from nowhere. Then came the inexplicable lights, a faint, pulsing glow appearing and disappearing within the tunnels. Whatever was buried under the ice still seemed to be active. The surprises didn't stop with the mysterious tunnels. Deep inside, preserved by the permafrost, were artifacts fashioned from materials that shouldn't exist in an ancient context. Rust-resistant alloys, flawlessly cut objects with no signs of wear, and small crystalline devices that hummed softly when touched were found, tools that seemed far too advanced for early human technology. The scientists were left with more questions than answers. Who built these structures? How long have they been hidden? And, most importantly, why were they abandoned? Local indigenous elders, long keepers of tales about spirits and forbidden lands, warned the team to leave. Their stories, passed down through generations, spoke of ancient beings that once roamed beneath the ice, mysterious entities that vanished without explanation. Whether myth or memory, one thing was certain: these hidden tunnels were never meant to be disturbed. One night, without any warning, the entire team abandoned the site. They left behind expensive equipment and have since refused to speak publicly about their experience. Officially, the reason was cited as environmental instability, shifting ice, dangerous conditions, and unforeseen risks. However, whispers in the scientific community hint at something far more disturbing. What could have forced them to flee so abruptly, leaving behind their most valuable discoveries? Almost as quickly as news of the expedition spread, details were scrubbed from the record. Reports vanished, satellite images became inexplicably blurred, and official statements remained vague. The few researchers who spoke off the record described an overwhelming sense of dread during those final days. Some believe they uncovered evidence of an ancient civilization predating recorded history, others suspect they encountered signs of an intelligence not of this world. Alaska's disappearing lakes, a warning from the wild. Adding to the mystery, Alaska's lakes are vanishing, one after another. Take Lost Lake, for example, which drains every year as if a giant plug were pulled from the earth. This isn't a random occurrence, it's a sign of something much larger at play. As the permafrost thaws, entire ecosystems are being reshaped. The ice may be revealing relics of the past, but even more alarming is the rapid disappearance of these lakes, a change that could have profound implications. Thawing permafrost creates underground channels that act like hidden drains, pulling water away and causing lakes to dry up. The effects are widespread: fish populations are thrown into disarray, migratory birds lose vital resting spots, and indigenous communities, who depend on these lakes, face increasing hardship. Moreover, these lakes store vast amounts of carbon, and as they vanish, the release of greenhouse gases only accelerates climate change. This isn't just an Alaskan problem. The release of trapped greenhouse gases from melting permafrost is altering global climate patterns at an unprecedented rate. Scientists have warned of this for years, and now we're witnessing its dramatic consequences in real time. When the frozen ground that has held for thousands of years begins to collapse, the results could be catastrophic. A land in constant transformation. Alaska is not only a place of ice and ancient secrets, it's also home to over 130 active volcanoes, among the most unpredictable on Earth. Mount Cleveland, for example, erupts so frequently that tracking its activity is a constant challenge. Its eruptions send massive ash clouds into the atmosphere, disrupting air travel and posing serious risks to nearby communities. Perhaps the most haunting example is the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, a barren wasteland of ash and steam left by the largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century. In 1912, the Novarupta eruption reshaped the landscape, sending ash as far as Europe and leaving behind a desolate valley where nothing could grow. Today, visitors to Katmai National Park can traverse this eerie terrain, a stark reminder of nature's immense power. Yet, while these volcanic features attract fascination, they also bring a persistent threat of devastation. Volcanic eruptions do more than alter landscapes, they can devastate infrastructure and force communities to flee. The 2009 eruption of Mount Redoubt, for instance, grounded flights and caused millions in damages. Beyond the explosions, the real danger lies in the subsequent mudflows, or lahars, that can obliterate entire communities within minutes. With many volcanoes located near key shipping lanes, a single event could have global ramifications. Even with their destructive potential, Alaska's volcanoes hold a silver lining. Their geothermal heat could be harnessed to provide cleaner energy, a viable alternative to fossil fuels, if we're ready to work with nature instead of against it. The challenge remains, will we heed these warning signs before it's too late? Adding to Alaska's haunting landscape are its ghost towns, once thriving settlements now abandoned. Take Kennecott, a former copper mining hub left to decay when the resources ran dry. What was once a bustling center of industry now stands as a monument to ambition and greed. Wandering its empty streets, one can almost hear the echoes of those who once sought fortune there. Then there's Nome, a town that surged during the late 1800s gold rush. Thousands of hopeful prospectors flocked there in search of riches, only to leave when the gold ran out. Today, it remains a spectral reminder of past dreams, shaped by both the aspirations of its inhabitants and the brutal reality of Alaska's wilderness. These abandoned settlements tell a story of ambition, risk, and the high cost of chasing wealth in one of the planet's harshest environments. And yet, despite the historical warnings, we continue to push nature to its limits, draining resources and ignoring the signs of rapid change. The ghost towns that dot the landscape aren't merely relics of the past, they may serve as warnings of what's happening today. The ground is breaking apart, and it isn't just buildings that are sinking, something ancient and long-trapped is beginning to awaken. What lies beneath the ice is stirring. For centuries, Alaska's permafrost acted like solid rock, supporting roads, homes, and entire communities. Now, rising temperatures are turning that once frozen ground to mush. Buildings lean, roads fracture, and entire villages begin to sink. Even more concerning is the emergence of dangerous greenhouse gases, methane and carbon dioxide, that have been trapped for thousands of years. As they escape, they accelerate climate change, pushing our planet toward perilous new conditions. And this isn't just an Alaskan issue, it's a global time bomb. Unusual weather patterns are fast becoming the norm. Ice fog, once a rare phenomenon, now creeps across the landscape, reducing visibility to near nothing. Winter thunderstorms, complete with unexpected lightning over icy vistas, are becoming commonplace. Seasons no longer behave as expected, spring arrives too early, and winter lingers far too long. Something is deeply out of balance, and if these bizarre shifts are occurring here, how soon before the rest of the world feels their impact? Even Alaska's forests are showing signs of distress. In the Tungas National Forest, trees lean at odd angles as their roots struggle through shifting soil, a phenomenon dubbed drunken trees that signals the instability of the ground below. Even more mysterious are the Sitka spruce trees that emit an unearthly blue glow. This isn't folklore, it's a documented, unexplained occurrence that adds yet another layer of mystery to this troubled landscape. Beneath Alaska's rugged terrain, the past is re-emerging in unexpected ways. Along the Yukon River, archaeologists have discovered ancient trade networks that challenge everything we thought we knew about early civilizations. Artifacts from Siberia and East Asia, jade, obsidian, and marine shells, reveal that Alaska was once a bustling hub where distant cultures exchanged goods long before European contact. These findings are rewriting history, showing us just how interconnected the ancient world truly was. Advanced scanning technology has also uncovered hidden settlements deep in the wilderness, some over 4,000 years old. Entire villages, complete with homes, ceremonial structures, and tools, have been mapped out, painting a picture of a sophisticated society thriving in one of the harshest environments imaginable. The more we learn, the clearer it becomes, Alaska's history is far richer and more complex than we ever imagined. Meanwhile, far below the ocean's surface near the Aleutian Islands, scientists have discovered hydrothermal vents, deep-sea hotspots where bizarre life forms flourish without sunlight. From glowing bacteria to alien-like tube worms, these organisms live off minerals from Earth's core. Their study might offer clues about extraterrestrial life, yet these vents also contain rare minerals, attracting interest in deep-sea mining. Should we really tamper with an ecosystem we barely understand? Above ground, new discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of Alaska's past. Satellite images and ground-penetrating radar have revealed hidden meteorite impact sites, with craters buried beneath dense forests and frozen soil. Some of these impacts date back millions of years and may have influenced not only Alaska's landscape but also early human migrations. Even more shocking, some craters contain minerals and metals that don't naturally occur on Earth, raising profound questions about their origins. And if that wasn't enough, the future promises even more revelations. With drones scanning untouched wilderness and melting ice exposing ancient fossils, who knows what other secrets lie in wait? Alaska isn't merely a land of ice and cold, it's a dynamic record of Earth's past, present, and future. From prehistoric creatures and unexplained sounds echoing in the mountains to vanishing lakes and forgotten civilizations, Alaska continues to rewrite its own story. The only question remains, what will we discover next? Alaska, the land Russia sold for pennies. In the mid-1800s, Russia faced a dilemma. They controlled this vast, icy territory, now known as Alaska, that was rich in resources but had been depleted by overhunting and challenged by American and British traders. With finances strained and the looming threat of British encroachment, the Tsar decided to sell the land rather than risk losing it in a conflict. Tsar Alexander II reasoned that if Alaska was destined to slip away from Russia eventually, it might as well generate some income. Selling to Britain was out of the question. Why hand over a valuable asset to an adversary? Instead, the United States, which was rapidly expanding and keen to curb British influence in North America, was seen as a safer option. In 1867, a deal was struck. The US would purchase Alaska for $7.2 million, a bargain when considering the millions of acres acquired. Many Americans initially ridiculed the deal, calling it Seward's folly or Seward's icebox, after Secretary of State William H. Seward, who orchestrated the purchase. To them, Alaska was nothing more than a frozen wasteland with little to offer. They couldn't have imagined that they were buying a land teeming with untapped resources. Initially, the management of Alaska was a hot potato, passed among the military, treasury, and navy, as no one was sure how to handle it.